Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, I have some concerns. I have some stuff I want to talk about, some stuff that's been floating around the community. It has to do, namely, with the state of the game of OPTC, and sort of the direction they're moving with the whole dupe system. That includes stuff like, obviously, Final Tap, that's been around for about a year now, Super Tandem, Level Limit Break, Grand Voyage, and the release of Legends moving forward. So it's a bit of a discussion video today. If you guys agree, disagree, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to bell the like button. If you're new, hit that big red subscribe button. With that said, let's dive in. Alright, so we're going to start the discussion off with Final Tap. Now, Final Tap's been around for a very long time, and obviously it's needed the dupe system. Now, with Final Tap for myself was it's incredibly powerful nonetheless, and it added a new sort of exciting mechanic, doing like extra effects as a final stage effect. Now, at level 1, these effects are all still pretty good. Like, Wodges is very, very strong. Yamato's is very, very strong. The 3 initial characters that came out didn't really warrant finding dupes for. And even still, like, besides this particular character right here being the Straw Hat Crew, no Final Tap has really needed the dupes to make the Final Tap viable. It's always just been like a nice little extra that the character actually has. Most of the time, the third potential ability doesn't really matter anyway, and Final Tap's always going to be better no matter what. However, tablets for Final Tap are still incredibly scarce, and with the release of Super Tandem, they haven't been released, because the Super Tandem tablet has actually replaced them. So, I don't know what Bandai's sort of doing now. We have so many Final Tap legends in the game. Like, we have Straw Hat Crew, Wodger, the 3 initial Onigashima Trio, then we have Yamato and Ace, we have Yamato. I'm probably missing one there too as well. So, like, the waifu, sorry. Like, that's another Final Tap legend. So, Final Tap is not the crux of what I want to talk about in this video, but it does fall under the same topic. The big thing I actually want to talk about here is the dupe system. Now, moving forward, dupe system in gacha games is always a very slippery path. And it's one that OPTC is starting to sort of go down, and there's one that I really liked. Well, one thing I really liked about OPTC is that it didn't do, because you always had tablets, right? Now, obviously, to unlock these hidden potential abilities through Limit Break, you have all the tablets that you need for these particular abilities. You have the tablets through Treasure Map, and they were actually farmable. Stuff like your power-ups, which you can get through dupes or similar characters, were actually farmable through other copies of characters or the character itself. Same with special levels. The special level of a character was always increased by stuff like manuals, which you could farm in the game. Dupes of particular characters, they're not farmable. So whilst all these abilities are nice, you could actually get them in other ways. However, with Level Limit Break, there's not a lot of ways of getting Level Limit Break abilities up. Now, with particular characters, older characters, like V1 Shanks and all these other characters as well, Level Limit Break has just made them viable again, which is great. But to get them to max, you need 9 dupes. 9 dupes for the characters to get the max level, or you can use the posters. Now, I really do like that the posters are a thing, but at the moment they are very, very scarce. And then to get stuff like Grand Voyage done with these particular characters, like this Shanks is a must-have for the local sea monster, who in my opinion is the hardest of the Grand Voyage events. And to get him to level, like to max, costs so much investment. Not only does it take 9 dupes to get the character to max, to unlock the abilities, it takes 150 million XP to get him there as well. I don't know if you noticed, but that is a lot of XP. It takes a lot of your resources, and it's very tricky to do, because using those posters is actually, like, scary to do so. Very similar to those gold tablets of the Final Tap tablets and the Super Tandem tablets. Whilst they're there, they aren't in abundance, right? So if we go to power up for Level Limit Break, I have 6 of these red posters. Now, most of them you actually get through Grand Voyage, doing the level 5 events, and sort of stuff like Super Pirate Rumble, which you have to be there for events, unless you have dupes of the actual character themselves. So Shanks, a primary example of needing him to actually get Grand Voyage done. Talking of the topic of Grand Voyage, by the way, Grand Voyage was a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, it is really, really fun. It's very, very hard content, and is great for endgame players. Obviously, it is endgame content. If you're a newer player and you can't get this done, don't stress. Like, even like veterans are like of the game are actually struggling. However, it is so restrictive to get these level 5s done. Now, obviously, newer characters get a release, and they will get easier over time. Like when Kid and Law came out, they made, like, the Orange Town ones a lot easier. However, in this case of the local sea monster, there hasn't been a character to make it a lot easier. And therefore, the investment takes a lot. And to actually get the missions done, you actually get those like, Sugo posters, right? They're the ones that give you the level limit break. So, the thing that you need the posters for is the reward system for it. For me, it's kind of counterintuitive. And whilst Grand Voyage is a lot of fun, it is incredibly challenging, and it does stimulate the brain in terms of team building. For this particular event, there's only like 2 teams that can beat it. That sort of reduces the creativity that we have when it comes to building teams. And it's kind of counterintuitive to what Yoshi actually said about needing your full box. Because you don't need your full box for this. You just need a specific 6 to 12 characters being the only ones that can actually beat it. A little bit of a concern in my eyes. I really wish that Grand Voyage, whilst I do like Grand Voyage, was more like a battle tower system. You use a bunch of characters. Once you use them, you can't use them again. And there's like 3 levels of like 12 different bosses. And that'll change like every sort of 2 to 3 months. So it is what it is. But to get the abilities, I feel like Bandai has to like release more of these Grand Voyage events, replenish Chopper Man missions or something, do something with it to allow us to get more of the red posters so we can level limit break our characters. Because even as whales, like, level limit breaking max characters, like, to get them maxed out on day dot, level 150, is going to take a lot of resources, it's going to take a lot of dupes, or it's going to take a lot of these posters. The next thing I want to talk about is Super Tandem. Now, Super Tandem obviously has a limit break, just like Final Tap, and you can actually level it up through these gold tablets here that give you Super Tandem levels. They basically have replaced the Final Tap variation, but we only got 3. In over a year's time, we've only received 3 gold Final Tap tablets. Like, that's pretty absurd for how many, like, Final Tap Legends we actually have. Now, going down the same line of Super Tandem Legends, we have a lot more Super Tandem Legends than we do Final Tap. And Super Tandem only came out 2 months ago, roughly. Something like that. So, with the release of all these new Legends and only having 1 tablet available at the moment, whilst it's guaranteed, it's still very, like, head-scratching. Now, I really do like the Super Tandem mechanic. I think it opens the door to a whole bunch of different ways to look at team building. It creates a whole new dimension when it comes to team building within the game. And it is incredibly powerful. Even at level 1, Super Tandem adds a buff that cannot be removed by the enemy, as well as stacking with every other buff in the game. And all you need to do is be a bit more clinical with your team building, which is great. Right up my alley. I freaking love team building. However, the effects of the Super Tandem reflect different conditions. And now, if we take a look at Luffy, for example, at level 1, he gives a 1.5 times attack boost to free spirit characters, and then makes all type slots matching. That's awesome. You can do this every single turn, provided you have a tandem slot and a Zoro and a Sanji on your team. Now, Luffy himself is so incredibly powerful, and all of these Super Tandem Legends without the Super Tandem effect actually is. However, if you want their full potential, not only do you need to put the Zoro and the Sanji on the team, but ideally you'd want it at level 5, right? Like, that's the big thing. There are a lot of good free spirit Sanjis, but there aren't a lot of good free spirit Zoros. Now, you don't need to rock a free spirit Zoro, don't get me wrong. You just start the chain with Zoro. I've actually done that in hard content, and it has worked absolutely fine. However, when you are being so critical with team building, and you want everything to work wonders, that can be a bit annoying. Not only that, but if you want this character at their max potential on release, you need to pull 5 of them. Because to get Super Tandem up at the moment, you just need dupes. That's the only way to do it. Unless you use your 1 tablet. But even still, you're not going to get it to max. And in saying that, there's been Luffy, Kaido, Kid, Law, Blackbeard, and now the 3 Toby Roppo that all have Super Tandem. That's 8 legends. 8 legends in 2 months that have Super Tandem effects. That's like the same as the Final Tap legends that have been out for over a year. So for me, to get this ability, you need to, like, Bandai, you just need to give us more of these tablets. Make them non-guaranteed or something. Like, do something to allow players to fully get the full indulgence of these particular characters. Now, for myself, I'm a whale. You guys know that. I have Luffy. I have Kaido at level 5. And the difference is astronomical. It's a disgustingly big difference. Like I said, level 1 is still incredibly strong. But level 5? click the button. Level 5 is just bonkers, man. All you need is still that Zoro and the Sanji character, and then one other Straw Hat. At level 4, the condition actually changes. And whilst the condition changing is nice, level 4 still requires 3 dupes, or a tablet and 2 dupes. That's a lot to ask from a player base, especially with these Super Sugos, this way. Super Sugos, which are only available on particular banners. Now, with the Luffy's case, for example, it works very nicely because there are a lot of very good Straw Hats in the game. They're obviously the primary focus. At level 5, you get a 2.5 times extra attack boost that stacks with everything and is incredibly strong. However, that condition for me, like in speaking for me, should have been somewhere down here. You get 1 extra copy, you can use any of the Straw Hats. That just allows you to use the Super Tandem a little bit nicer. And then just like Kaido, have a level 4 effect, where it's like any free spirit character and any of the Straw Hats, removing that clause of having to bring a Zoro and a Sanji. Now, for me, I like it. Like, I'm a big fan of it because, like, I have access to all of these characters. I do a lot of summons. I have a developed box that allows me to just go, yep, that character's great. I have that character. It's great. But I understand not everyone's like that. Not everyone has those characters just ready to go at their disposal. And getting that can be very, very challenging. Incredibly challenging. So, these conditions are a little bit of a head scratcher for me. However, there is a shining light with Kaido and what we see with Kaido. Now, unfortunately, unlike Luffy, Kaido's Super Tandem effect can't be used every single turn. However, it's incredibly strong on the final stage, but at level 4, he has the ability to bring any striker character. Kaido's abilities change twice as you level up his Super Tandem. At level 1, you basically need to bring King, Queen, or Jack. You need 2 of them, and Kaido himself, with a Tandem Orb to activate his Super Tandem effect. Now, obviously with the release of these characters, Bandai does a really good job of releasing characters alongside them that work very, very well for their Super Tandem effect. However, if we don't see a King, a Queen, and a Jack, or you don't have the King, Queen, and Jack from previous batches and whatnot re-released into the game, this is going to drop off very, very fast. Lucky for us, Kaido then has at level 2, he has the ability to have all of the Toby Roppo, who are about to get 3 new legends, by the way. But you also have a lot of other characters there. And then at level 4, it's any other striker character. And obviously being a superclass striker, this works very, very well. However, with Kaido, you can only use it on the final stage. And that is a massive hindrance in my eyes. However, Kaido is still incredibly strong. And sometimes, you know, like, as I was saying, you don't need these Super Tandem effects for these characters to be incredible. However, it is a bit of a knock because when you are using them, you want to use that shiny new mechanic. It makes you want to do the things that Kaido can do, right? Now, it's not all negatives in this particular video about Super Tandem. Like I said, I really do like Super Tandem. I think it's an amazing mechanic. And if we look at characters like Law, there are silver linings. Like, Law needs 2 cerebral characters and then one of the following, either being Beppo, Sachi and Penguin, Junbart, Corazon, or Luffy. Now, Law's a free spirit cerebral character. He's a cerebral leader, so you can bring like any cerebral characters at all. A Beppo came out alongside him. There's a lot of good free spirit Luffy's, as well as obviously Corazon having a legend being very, very good. However, Sachi, Penguin, and Junbart don't have many characters. Like, none at all, really, that I can think of, besides the Beppo, Sachi, and Penguin unit. And as I was saying before, if these characters don't get representation moving forward, these Super Tandem characters are just going to be forgotten about. Not only that, but at level 5, it does change drastically to only needing 1 cerebral and 1 free spirit character, and then having the same sort of requirements of Beppo, Sachi, Penguin, Junbart. Now, Laws, for myself, I think is very, very good. Like, he has a very, very good Super Tandem effect. It's very easy to do because Luffy is a free spirit character, and it works very, very nicely there. Having 1 cerebral or free spirit is absolutely phenomenal, and I do think moving forward, these particular effects need to be implemented on Super Tandem. However, this is level 5. You need to remember that. Law has the luxury of being an anytime legend. You can put him on tickets and whatnot. But this is level 5. A level 5 Super Tandem effect. Not a level 1, a level 5. At level 1, it is much better than, say, Kaido's and Luffy's. It's less restrictive, but you still need those restricted characters. Talking about restrictions, though, if you take a look at Kid, Kid has something very similar to Law. He has the 2 driven characters, and then one of the following needs to be Heat, Wire, Killer, or Luffy. Now, they obviously released a free Killer, and I think they will do that moving forward with all these characters, so you have the ability to access the Super Tandem with your team building. However, how many Luffys are driven and striker? Like, you're not going to be putting a Luffy on the team. Heat and Wire have that rare recruit, but besides that, they don't have any other characters in the game. And as I mentioned, like, if they don't get representation moving forward, this kid just becomes, like, not useless, but just becomes a sub, right? And the Super Tandem effect at level 5 just being a driven or striker is great, but again, you need the dupes, and it's all about dupes. It's all about dupes. It's all about summoning. It's all about spending money on the game to get these abilities awakened. Now, Super Tandem obviously is a limit break. It takes up a limit break slot. At level 1, I still think it's infinitely better than any other limit break slot you can possibly put in the game. But if you don't have access to it in a run, it's a wasted slot. Like, it doesn't do anything. So, for some players, for a good majority of players, don't have access to these characters, don't have Heat and Wire, miss the killer event at the moment, and then doesn't have killer, kid's just going to sit in the box and collect dust, unfortunately. Finally, we have Blackbeard, and Blackbeard is the biggest narc in my eyes. He's a treasure map legend, so if you're not summoning on treasure maps, you don't have to worry about this guy anyway. But if you manage to pick him up, like one copy, and then you're good, and you don't summon on treasure map banners ever again, you're never going to get another copy of this guy. Therefore, you're always going to be at level 1 Super Tandem. At level 1, you need 2 of his crewmates. Sanjuan, Wolf, Doc Q, Vasco Shot, who has a free-to-play character, but is no longer farmable. Like, Bando, what's that about? Alvaro Bizarro, Lafitte, all these characters don't have a lot of representation that are accessible to the player base. Jesus Burgess has a couple free-to-play units. Shiryu has Treasure Map Shiryu, I guess, and then Van Olga has, like, nothing. Whilst there is representation for these characters, they're not accessible to everyone. Now, Blackbeard has a very strong level 5, don't get me wrong. But, Blackbeard has a strong level 5, 1.5 times attack boost to powerhouse driven, and a chain multiplier by 1.5. Which stacks on everything, by the way. So if you can do, like, crazy Yamato shenanigans with, like, chain boost, chain boundary, chain multiply with a super type, and then get this to stack on top, some insane stuff. However, at level 1 and at level 5, the condition doesn't change. If you look at Luffy and you look at Kaido, their conditions change drastically. Their power increases drastically too, but the conditions become a lot easier. This does not, like, at all. Kid and Law, one cerebral or free spirit or driven striker, and it works like a dreamboat. But this is like summon for units or use units that don't make sense. At the same time, you need to use units that take down the content, right? That has to happen. And sometimes, like, I was doing, like, Dofi 2, and trying to find, like, characters to put on the team to take down the content was quite challenging, because none of these Blackbeard pirates would do what I needed them to do. So therefore, running Blackbeard in some content was just like, well, why? Why would I do that? Like, I would just use something that's just gonna do it faster or quicker or better. So I just don't understand the logic with making something so restrictive around something that is quite new and just, like, not having access to it altogether. Final thing I want to talk about in today's video is Legend releases. Now, as you guys are probably aware, we actually have the release of not 1, not 2, but 3 new Legends that will be coming in the next couple of days that are the main 3 Toby Roppo, the big 3 fights of Black Maria, Sasaki, as well as Who's Who. Now, not only are we getting 3 Legend releases on, like, the same banner in quotation marks, but all of these Legends have, yep, you guessed it, Super Tandem, which means to get them at their full potential, you need to pull 5 of them, hypothetically. And then there's 3 of them. That means you have to pull 15 Legends on the release of a banner to get the maximum potential out of all these characters. Now, obviously, I don't recommend doing that. I don't recommend having Luffy and Kaido at max final tandem. I don't recommend anyone do that. Like, it doesn't make any logical sense unless you just, like, love the game, go Giga WoW. But doing that to every single character is just absurd. It's actually absurd. Especially characters that aren't Super Sugos, like Who's Who, like the Sasuke, like the Black Maria. Now, I wasn't even a big fan of 2 Legend releases per month, like on a particular regular banner, let alone 3 Legends. That's just, it's absolutely disgusting to me. Like, it's actually gross to think about that 3 Legends are coming on the, again, in quotation marks, the same banner. If we go back to, like, the start of the anniversary, if we look at, like, from, like, Big Mom and Marco's release, there has been something like, I don't know, 10 Legends in the last 2 months. In the last 60 days, we've had Big Mom, Marco, we've had, was X-Drake in there too? X-Drake was probably in there just before that. You had the 4 anniversary legends, which was Luffy, Kaido, Waifus, and Ace Yamato. We then had Blackbeard as a treasure map, Smoothie as a PvP legend, and now we've got these 3. That's making like 11 to 12 legends since anniversary, which was literally only 2 months ago. Like, this is just becoming a little bit absurd, a little bit disgusting, and not only is there so many legends being thrown our way, they're legends that require dupes to actually get the full potential of them. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. Like I said, like, this video is not all doom and gloom in terms of me just sitting here and having a bitch about the game. I still enjoy playing the game. Like, don't get me wrong. I still have fun playing the game, and I like these new mechanics. I just think there should be a better way, which they've already got in the game, being tablets and posters, to get these characters to not only level 150, but also to awaken their super tandem effect. One thing that I'm actually not going to touch on today, because I could ramble for hours, is why is there damage reduction on a 2022 legend? That is just bonkers. That is just bonkers to me. But nevertheless, it is. So that's going to wrap up the video, homies. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I do apologize if the rant was just like, shut the hell up, Stump. Like, we don't fucking care. Or let me know if you guys agree, or you have anything you want to add to this particular discussion. I'm really keen to continue it down in the comment section. I'll be down there, so if you want to have a chat, please don't hesitate to voice your opinions. Just remember to keep it respectful and keep it justified. But most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful day, in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to build the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.